family, goals, and leadership.
Beautiful, smart, capable, and funny.
A spiritual woman who loves God, one of a kind, and loyal. Strong-willed, loyalty, and dedication. Everything a woman does has meaning. I have a gift being an empowered woman to help empower others. See, we as women have the authority that is full of power, whether we know it or not. We're all gifted. Yes, you are that gifted one, being a woman. Tell yourself every day, I am that empowered woman.
Why do it seem like can't nobody handle the truth out here? With that real talk with Toy. You came big, you lying. You came big, you ain't telling the truth. You came big, you lying. You came big, you ain't telling the truth. I like that topic. What up? Thanks for tuning in to Real Talk with Toy for another real topic. Let's get it.
What's up? What's up? Thanks for tuning in to Topics, Real Talk with Toy, where you have real people, real situations, and real conversations. Look, y'all, before I get started, I would like everybody to like, share, and subscribe so that you know when my videos will appear. As you can see, I have strong women sitting around me. That's what the topic is, women's empowerment. So let's give it up. Let's give it up. Give it up. I am so glad you guys are joining me tonight.
No doubt.
Yes. Okay, so when it comes down to women's empowerment, there's a lot of ways to look at it. But we have to all ask ourselves, are we that empowered woman? Or are we that woman that needs to be empowered? Very good question.
Well, for me, it's a little bit about I love to encourage, to uplift, and to to help empower somebody, but there are times in my life to where I'm struggling with certain things and I need that uplift.
Yes.
So I think for me, I'm both them women, so.
I was gonna say the same thing. I say I'm both.
Yeah.
Even though more so I do most empowerment, but every now and then I need that extra push. I need that extra power to put into me so that I can keep going.
Right. Because you know what? Ain't nobody perfect.
Mm.
Nobody's perfect.
Not at all.
Sometimes we may feel
Well,
like
I am a little bit.
sometimes we may feel like we have it all in the bag, and we just don't. We need
Right.
that extra. You know what, girl? You doing good.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Just pray.
Amen.
Relax. Take a deep breath.
Yeah.
We all get there.
We're so busy doing any and everything for any and everybody that we forget to take care of ourselves.
Exactly.
And I feel like us as strong women, we tend to do that a lot, and we lack getting poured into sometimes.
Yes.
And it's necessary.
Yes. It's automatic. It's like an automatic caregiver type.
I I think women are more than just caregivers. We're everything.
Everything.
We're everything. If you think about it, we're everything.
Mhm.
We're a caregiver. We're the maintenance man. We're just anything you can think of.
Right, the chef.
counselor.
Right, the
The
counselor.
counselor,
The
Right.
maid, the
pastor.
educator.
We're
you know,
everything.
we're everything.
Absolutely.
And I believe it takes a very strong woman, a very strong woman to be able to do that, because not a lot of people can handle certain things. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that fall short in different areas. But when you can wear every hat and do it to the best of your ability, I think that's just wonderful.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I agree with you, but I also feel like whatever situation you're put in, you're able to achieve, like to do it, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm,
Because like
mhm.
certain situations that you're in, I don't know if I can do it, as a
Right.
woman.
Right.
But then the things that I can overcome is like, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And it's like, I think about people who are in really terrible situations and still bring themselves out of it.
Mhm,
And it's because they had to,
mhm.
Exactly.
not because they had a choice.
Right.
I was just gonna say that, because a lot of times we think, oh girl, if that was me, I would not be able to do that.
Right.
Or I'm gonna do this, and it's like at the end of the day, as a woman, once you in that situation, it's fight or flight. And there's not a lot of women that's gonna fight, because when you are faced with a problem, there's a lot on the line, and you cannot lose what you've built, like you've worked so hard to build.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
that is definitely a big one. That's definitely a big one.
Right. And it's almost baffling. Have you guys ever been in a situation to where you were targeted as a person? When I say targeted as a person, I'm talking about where someone judged you before they even got to know you, before you even opened your mouth.
Yeah.
Have anyone ever had that situation happen
Yes.
by another woman?
Even just from anyone, but
Anyone.
a woman specifically.
Yes.
It almost hurts my feelings, and I get a little offended, because I want to see all women succeed. I want to be able to sit at the table with all bosses and be like, girl, yes, you did that. Girl, yes, uplift you,
Yes.
and give back what I want to receive.
Exactly.
So a lot of times people are, oh, you look mean. Oh, you look uppity. Like I'm the total opposite of that.
Far from it, right.
And that is so true. And it's always, and I'm a little young, so I still like go out to my parties and, go mingle a little bit.
Mhm.
And it's like, you go into a certain place and everybody's like this, looking you up and down, and you like, oh, all right, let me go say hi or something.
Let me lighten the mood up.
Right.
Yeah, it's just too much tension.
Right, but then you have to also take it from the other side. It's like, how are you walking in? You know what I'm saying? Like, you may not have that smile on your face that you feel like you do, and they take that smirk as like, oh, she thinks she's all that. You know what I mean?
But I think, not to cut you off, but I think if you walk into a place, like me, for instance, I don't smile all the time. I don't, but that don't mean I have an attitude.
Right.
That don't mean that I'm being a bitch or I'm trying to be mean or anything. That's just me. That's just who I am.
Right.
So I say, if you walk into a place and they look at you, but who said I had to smile? You're prejudging me. But because I don't have a smile on my face doesn't mean that I'm getting ready. I'm a certain type of way.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. But that's the whole thing. It's like everybody has that in them to judge somebody on just their opinions in the first 5 seconds of you just walking in.
Exactly.
And everybody is guilty of it, Everybody's guilty of it. So that's the thing that we have to stop as women, and especially as Black women, we have to stop judging the first 5 seconds of you walking into a room.
Yes.
Because you never know what kind of day we have. So yeah, I mean,
Absolutely. And my question is, why? Why and when is that cycle going to end?
I ask myself that too. Like, why don't, especially people of color, Black women, why is it when we look at each other dead in the eye, why isn't there a hello? You know what I mean? What is the problem with saying hello? You know what I'm saying?
It's so true. I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but it's so true. I mean, I remember this one time. I was holding the door for the lady, and I'm not racist in any way, but the white lady came through, she said thank you. White man came through, he said thank you. And the black lady was way back there, but I still waited to hold the door. And she come in, I'm like, have a good day. You know, like she didn't say anything, she didn't say thank you, nothing. I'm like, well, have a good day. She turned around, girl, what did I do? Like, I just, okay, I'm gonna let you be great.
Right.
But it's
for
crazy.
me, it's so sad. It's really sad because I think that in this age, in this time, in the world, we need to pull together. There should be no room for tearing each other down. No room. Because everybody can be great. Yeah. Everybody is great, but there's room for everybody to shine. And I think it's more of a competition thing. Like a silent type competition. I'm not in competition with you. So why would you feel, I mean, it's automatic, like, yeah, she thinks she looks good, da, 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 da. You know what I'm saying? Why do you feel I feel that way?
Right. Why is it that women always feel like they have to compete? Everything is not a competition. I ain't trying to be like you.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? That's my thing. I'm not trying to be like you. I'm who I am, and that's just what it is.
Right.
You understand?
Right. So, and appreciate and respect the fact that you're who you are.
Period. And if you don't like it, then what? Don't look.
Right.
That's how I look at it. I mean, for real.
But still give me my respect.
Right.
That's all I'm
At the same
asking.
time.
Yeah.
That's
But
right.
I think that carries back, going back years and years of when you did have something and when they were coming in and taking what you have. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like you're self-preserving what you have. So it's like, I'm not going to tell you what I have, you know, and I'm gonna make you feel like I have something more than you, you know. So it's embedded in us years and years coming up to self-preserve what you have. Don't share what you have because somebody's gonna come and take it.
Right. See, and that is it's so true and it's so sad.
Yeah.
It really is. Because we should be able to tell each other.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? As women, we should be able to tell each other, look, girl, guess what's going on? Guess what happened? Guess what we can, you know, and not feel no type of tension.
Right.
Negativity between the two. You know, it shouldn't be like that. I just think that's it's not cool. It's just not cool, but it happens all the time. All the time. For instance, let's say this. At a workplace, we'll say, I don't know, just hypothetically speaking, at a workplace. Okay. There's a guy, he's a boss, leadership, he's a manager, you know, different situations and stuff, or different jobs, people have their own titles. So we're gonna say manager. As a man, he is going to be a great manager per se. You get what I'm saying? Like he'll be more respected than a woman.
Right.
Because when you're being a woman, you know, and we get a higher position, any type of high position at a workplace or even owning your own business, you know what I mean? We're gonna be looked at as You uppity.
Right?
Mm,
Oh, you think you all that?
that bitch.
Mhm.
That bitch. That's, I mean, really.
Yeah, yeah.
Period. Why is that?
That's a good question, Toy.
Wow.
I'm not even gonna lie.
Back in the day before there was really women's rights, men thought that the woman's role was in the home. When women when the women's rights and all that, and women started to get out in the work field and and coming out of the home, certain men had problems with that because they believed that the woman's place is in the home. It's almost like they didn't want women to know their full potential.
True.
They only wanted the woman to have the babies, to cook the food, to be in the house, and to be a servant to them when they need.
Mhm.
So it's almost like they know how great women are, because if you ask me, I'm going to tell you, it takes it takes women to rule the world for it to be correct. That's just how I feel about it. Men ruling the world, look how crazy it is.
Well, I think we create balance. You know,
Right.
I think, like you said, it do take women, but I think women, we keep a stable balance, because if not, it would be.
But yeah, just look, men have been running this world for as long as I've known. There's never been a woman president or vice president until now. And over the years, look how chaotic it is. It's so but that's a bunch of men trying to have all the power. You know what I'm saying? For the life of me, I just want all the women to raise up and let's do what we do best.
Mhm.
Which,
And I'm sorry.
oh no,
I was just gonna mention, like, in those times where women were the homemakers, I feel like we were putting each other together even more. Like, now I'm gonna call my neighbor because I know such and such is sick, and I'm just gonna check on you. I'm just gonna send you flowers or some bread or something. You know what I mean? Because you could relate with that person, because you knew exactly what they were going through, because their situation was your situation. And now that everybody has a situation, or everybody has a story to tell, and like you said, everybody doesn't tell their story, it's like, oh, okay, well, you don't know what I've been through, so I'm not even going, you know what I mean? So you're sitting and you're prejudging someone off of things that you don't know. And it's like, even in a man's standpoint, and it's not just women, because men do the same thing. Like, they tear each other down physically more than women do.
Right.
Women, we're gonna give you all of the attitude and all of the, all of that. The men, they don't, oh man, you know them shoes, and it's like together, we all have to do this together, but it takes a woman to really step up and put forth the effort to do it. Like, we gotta do, because it's almost like a follow suit. I mean, truth be told, I don't know how all relationships work, don't get me wrong, but most times in a relationship, your wife gonna be like, babe, I think that you overreacting. Maybe we should just chill. And you know what I mean? No, but eventually he's gonna start putting it into effect. And the same thing for the woman.
But as I said, she created that balance of, like, I'm gonna balance out your anger problem that I feel like you have, you know what I'm saying? That testosterone, you want to balance that out
Yeah.
with some estrogen,
do you guys think that being a woman, do you guys think that it's hard for us to feel as though we have to work extra harder, per se,
Yeah.
than men do out here, speaking of men? You know what I mean? we have to work extra harder
Mhm.
out here. And that's where all the competition comes in at
Mhm.
with us as being women. We have to compete. We have to feel as though we have to do that due to us having to do extra, just being that caregiver.
Or even just industry standards. The
Yeah.
industry is gonna tell you you're not woman enough if you're not doing this. You're not woman enough. You're pretty enough. You're not this enough. And it's like, I am me, okay?
Yeah.
Like if you can't accept me, you got to get on about my square. I can't even deal.
Exactly.
Right.
I can't even deal. But yes, it is harder for women because we are balancing home life and work life and personal life. And that's a lot of balance to try and be the peacemaker.
Yeah.
That's too much
Exactly.
sometimes. It's too much.
Basically, yeah, because a lot of people expect a lot out of us women. You understand?
Yeah.
A lot of people. And it takes a lot to be a strong woman. And that's why I really, really feel as though, there's nothing wrong with each day. Tell yourself, always say, I am beautiful. There's nothing wrong with uplifting yourself each day. The more and more you uplift yourself, the more and more you're not going to have that problem with uplifting the next.
Positive affirmations.
Period.
That is true.
If we just do that, I really do think that the movement, you know what I mean? Because when I say movement, I'm talking, it just doesn't stop here.
Right.
It's so many, women that has did this, getting around talking about women's empowerment, trying to figure out ways to encourage each other and go about, just having get-togethers and having, ideas, just different things like that. That's the stuff that we need to continue to do. But we can't do that unless we add on to the women's movement. That means tell the next person. That means encourage the next person and let that trickle. That's the movement.
But it's not just about speaking, you have to actually put it into action. We can't just sit around here and just say this is what we want to do, and you're not really physically doing it.
Right. Do it.
Do it.
Exactly.
Instead of asking, I have
I keep sitting on my head.
I came up with this idea back in December. I know it's not just my idea, like I know pretty much people didn't thought about it, but I was texting different people that I hadn't talked to in a while.
Okay.
And I was just telling them, just giving them some positive words for that day. And the responses that I had gotten back was, I needed to hear this, thank you. You know what I'm saying? I hadn't spoken to you in a while, and for me to get this from you, thank you, because this really helped me get throughout my day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then I took it a step further. Because yes, I have different skills that I had to learn to, to say like things. So instead of me just saying, you can say, well, what can I do for you? You know what I'm saying? Instead of me asking but not being disrespectful, a couple of people that I did say, you know what? I didn't give them a choice. I'm gonna come over because I'm good with kids. I'm gonna take the kids for an hour. I want you to get some rest. You know what I'm saying? Because I can braid hair. So I'm about to braid the girl's hair. Just relax. Let me take this one thing off of your plate.
Right.
With no type of expectations.
Oh my God. Yes, that was a key word. No expectations. Because everybody nowadays is looking for a whiffle. What's in it for me?
Yes.
Why? What happened to just being a good person in somebody's corner?
Exactly.
Like, that is just beyond me.
Exactly.
It is. It's just, people, they always say, oh, because I'm doing this for you, I'm going to expect something in return. Like, I can't stand that. Like, that spoils my
Because it's like people always sit and they always want something in return. They always think that it's something in the game when they're offered something, a favor, or, not a favor, but when they're offered, anything. It could be anything.
I'm guilty of that. When somebody offers something to me, I automatically think, what do they want? Or what am I gonna have to do for them when they call on me? You know what I'm saying? Or I'll feel like, okay, they did this for me. Now, whenever they call me, I can't say no.
You feel like obligated.
I feel
to have
obligated.
it turned
Exactly.
up.
So I turn everybody down because I don't want to feel that obligation. But that was stopping my blessings.
Exactly. I was just gonna say that.
It was stopping my blessings and I didn't know it. But that was something that I was taught.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As a young child, my mother taught me, don't accept because somebody's going to want something in return.
That's true. That is true. I know the people, my peers, they were like, oh no, you can't do that for this person because they're gonna want something back. And it becomes a learned behavior and a learned response. And I'm to the point to where I give out, and then I have trouble receiving because no, if I call them, they no, we gotta stop. We gotta stop doing that because even if I can't help you today and I can't help you tomorrow, I can help you with something. And please don't get mad at me, okay? I'm speaking to y'all, okay? Don't be getting mad when somebody cannot do what you expect them to do at the time that you expect them to do it. That's kind of like people who be waiting on God. They want them to move when they said to move, and that just don't work like that. It don't work like that. So lower the expectation and really start living in the moment and being a blessing to somebody and being a blessing and receiving your blessings. Like, don't forget that, that's important.
That's very important. Very important. I sit back sometime and, I used to be that person that would look at things in the way of saying, don't forget what I did for you. Same type of person that you didn't want to run into. Do you get what I'm saying? Somebody who didn't want you to forget what they did for you. See, that's not okay to be that way. You miss out on your blessing. You understand? That's just not okay to be that way. I was that person that felt like, we all know that saying, you do unto others as you wish for them to do unto you. And that's just what it is. But everybody ain't gonna be like you.
Everybody don't think like you do or like you do. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Exactly. And so that's why it was almost like I would do something nice for someone. It could be anywhere from giving somebody a ride, just that. And then when it was time that I needed somebody, I didn't look at it like, okay, let me see who I did that for. Let me see who I did something for. Let me see, let me check. I didn't do that. I just automatically, would come across the same person that I had did something for. And it was wrong to me when they said, no, I can't, blah, blah,
You
blah,
felt
blah.
like
I felt like, okay, I did all that for you, but you can't, you get what I'm saying? You can't do anything for me, but I did all that for you.
That's a lot of times how mothers or parents think, and a lot of times, and I've seen it a lot, parents tend to kind of groom, and you work with children a lot, parents tend to groom their child to take care of them. And it's like, don't raise your child with the expectation that they're going to pour into you if something were to happen to you. You know what I mean? Because everybody has a different life, and the child that you're raising is going to become their own person. They already have their own mind. We already know that. So just like I said, lower the expectation of this is what I did for you, and I changed your diaper. I know you gonna change my diaper when I get old. You know, it's like it's not empowering to do that.
See, okay, so I'm gonna say I agree with you, but then I was raised in a different time to where you honor your mother and your father.
And you still do.
Right. So I felt like if my parents raised me to get me to where I am. So when it would be no question, it wouldn't be a question in my mind for me not to want to take care of my parents. But unlike what you were saying, the expectation. Well, for me, the expectation would be there is no doubt. Even though I have my own life, even though I'm doing, I have other things I have to take care of. There's no question when it comes to my parents.
Right. Okay.
But the younger generation is like, I'm noticing, well, you shouldn't have had me, and you don't expect, you know what I'm saying?
That's a different level.
Right,
That's a different level. I'm not saying that.
Right. So when you say lower the expectations, for me, I would expect my parent to already know if and when I ever had to, there would be no question.
Right.
There would be no question.
And that makes 100% sense. It does. But when I say that, because just to throw it out there, children nowadays are out of line.
Oh,
there is a
You have
limit
to think
to
about
that.
who's having these kids. And when I say babies having babies, I'm not talking about so much as age number. Mentally, babies are having babies. You know what I'm saying? And when I say that's because you cannot expect somebody who mind has not developed fully to the age of where they need to have these children, to raise the children. So they're only capable of raising them at the age they are at. You know what I'm saying? But mentally though.
Right.
I'm not
look at
saying
that.
as far as physical age.
Right. And I don't mean to cut you
Let me
off.
just say, I look at that as in, you think about it this way. You know what you were how you were taught. Okay? So if your mother didn't know to teach you, how can anybody expect you to know to teach yours?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It's the mental
Exactly.
age of what I was saying. It's not so much as the age part of the physical age.
It's right, and I think it all trickles down.
Yeah.
Like if my mother's mother didn't know to teach her, how can anybody expect my mother to be able to teach me or expect me to be able to teach my daughter?
Right. And then that also plays into me wanting to say, like I've been wanting to say for the last 5 minutes. Okay. No, that's okay. I'm saying like that leads me to say when it comes down to, I'm gonna beg the difference here. Let me tell you why.
That's the difference on one.
Because when it comes down to honor their mother and their father,
Right.
absolutely. But speaking for people who have been caught up in a bad situation that they had no control over, being raised by other people other than their own parents.
Meaning like the streets?
It ain't even gotta be the streets. It could be just auntie, uncle and auntie,
Okay.
Whatever. Do you still look at that as in even though I wasn't raised, now I'm hypothetically speaking, even though I wasn't raised by my family, by my mom or my dad, and they took ill at some point in time, and do I still need to be obligated to care for them?
See, for me, in that situation.
And these are just for people who have been dealt some effed up cards.
For me, in that situation, I wouldn't, okay, so like, let's say you didn't know your mother and you didn't know your father, then why would they have any type of expectation for you to do anything? You know what I'm
There's
saying?
a lot that do.
There are, but see, I would say, you can't, when I say automatically, yes, I'm talking about someone who's cared for me, who nurtured me, who did everything for me when I couldn't do it for myself. That's my parents, whether it's my aunt, my grandmother, whoever. Would it be a thought? No, my thought would be an automatic, let's go. I'm gonna be there all the way, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now, for somebody who, I'm grown, I have children, you come into my life, and you expect me to take care of you? No, ma'am.
That's what I was, that's where I was leading.
I'm in that situation.
Oh, okay.
I am. My mother took ill. My mom and dad divorced when we were younger, in our teens, but they separated when we were young age. My father was out of our lives for majority of my young childhood, all the way up until maybe 3 years ago. My mom took ill. I took care of her till the day she died. My father, he took ill and was on life support. So I packed myself, my sister, my nephew, and my daughter down. We went to Detroit and to help take care of him. Took a step further was to move him and his wife to Lansing.
Wow.
So that we can be closer and build a relationship.
Okay.
Because like I said, I felt like it was a little too late for us, but you're ill. The thought of losing you without fully getting to know you would have devastated me more.
But see, I think that's a choice you made. That's not an expectation.
But I also felt obligated in my heart because he was my father.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I just
Because
want
he is my father, not was, but is my father.
Yeah.
I just want to add to it. So I was a baby, having a baby. I walked across the stage with my son from high school. I was on my own at 16. I was a foster kid and my mother died early. When I was 8, I was moved back to Michigan with my dad, who I barely knew because of some stuff that was going on down where I was at. I came here. I didn't know my dad's side of the family, but what they did on that side is they took care of grandma. Grandma was hospitalized and all the time, and she'd come home, she's bedridden, you got to change her diaper, you got to feed her. I mean, round the clock care. Then that happened to my aunt. Then that happened to my dad. And when my dad became ill, he's always been diabetic. He was quadriplegic. A little bit after I had my son was about 3 weeks. And I wasn't even supposed to be around my dad because I was in foster care. It was no question. I'm going to go take care of my dad. I don't care what you're going to tell me that I can or can't do. I'm going to go take care of my dad despite the foster care story.
Right.
So when I say lower your expectation, I just mean you can't, and this is a part of the empowerment, you can't not pour into your child and then expect for your child to pour into you. So what I'm saying is, a lot of times, because we are living in a different time, so the respect level is not there. I can't tell you how many times I hear somebody talking to their mother a certain type of way. My mother died when I was 7. There's no way I will talk to my mother the way I hear some people do. And it's like, the respect level is different, the care level is different, and it's like all these young adults are so preoccupied with what they have going on that they forget that their parents were the ones who, you know, have been there, have nurtured them, and have grown them into the adults that they are. Whether they agree with the tactic or not, it all boils down into the mental. What did you really pour into your child? Because now you're starting to see it play out. And a lot of times you got rebellious teens, and you got people who are going to do what they feel that they want to do. That's just the way it works. You know, sometimes you have to learn things the hard way for you to come back into it. But I've always been someone who's taking care of someone, because that's just the way I grew up. Like my mom died when I was 7, and I stayed in Alabama for a year, and after that year I came back. I didn't know my dad's side of the family like that, but it was still in me to respect and honor thy mother and thy father.
Right.
And if I see, it's just a compassion in me. Everybody doesn't have that.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not something that everybody is born with. We all have different traits, but the problem is, can we really respect what traits you do have? You may not be able to take care of me, because that was really the big issue when it came down to take care of my dad. Who was really gonna wipe his ass? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and that was my brother's like, I can't do it, and I'm like, man, if you don't get in there, like, you got the same thing, you know? But it was like he just couldn't do it. It just wasn't in him to do it.
Right.
And I'm like, you know what? Somebody got to do it. I'm gonna do it. Fine. But that doesn't mean that someone doesn't care. That doesn't mean that they don't respect you. That just means that there are certain tasks that they can't do, that as parents, as people who have to start thinking about empowering others, we have to take that level of perception. Well, what can you do? What would be something that you could do that would still benefit both you and that person, you know? And that's really just what I wanted to say, just to kind of tie that up. Because I'm not saying lower your expectations, don't put high expectations on your child. I'm not saying that, because you always want to be the primary coach in your child's life.
Right.
You always want to know that your child, that's your legacy. You want to be able to make sure that when you pass on, your child is representing you in the best way.
But not even when you pass on. For me, I have one child, one daughter, and she's 24. I expect when she, like you said, she's my legacy. When she gets out here in these streets, I expect her to conduct herself in a certain type of manner. You know what I'm saying? Because you're representing me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but I think the society has influenced our kids today to where it is horribly ridiculous.
Absolutely, and it takes away how we're supposed to feel as parents when it comes down to expecting our children to do better. I have a child, she's 22. I've raised her since birth. She was with me. I did my thing. I was a working mother for many, many years. All my life. Hell, all my life, okay? Everything was focused on her. When I tell you, she wasn't wanting for nothing. I meant that. I meant that. Not even just physically, mentally, and everything, as far as what me being a parent could see.
Right.
Do you get what I'm saying? And when you say society has flipped the script on the way our kids think, it's one of them things to where it's unexplainable, because to be honest with you, sometimes, you know, before you have to put the pause on the kids, you know, put the pause, put the pause on them, okay? You really do have to think about Is it worth it now?
Right?
Is
It's
it
always
worth
worth it. It's always worth it because you know what? I don't have my parents anymore. And one thing that we don't appreciate in the moment is having that person over you to tell you, you know what, that ain't a smart move. I can agree with you or not. And I'm gonna do my own thing at the end of the day, but once I start reflecting, because eventually we all reflect, you know, we lay in the bed and start crying about just something random. We be like, oh, my mom told me. You know what I mean? You just never know.
Yeah.
And it's like, it never stops.
It never
stops.
Exactly.
Even when they don't agree with what you gotta say, you know, that's another thing, you know, with us building a community of empowerment, then it's going to be a little bit harder to break it down because guess what? Such and such came and told me such and such. Don't tell them I told you, but because it takes a village to raise them, just, you know, kind of approach them and see what's going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like I said, it's all about empowering them and making them feel validated. Because a lot of times, like in my age group, our parents grew up talking at us. It's not about what you think, it's about what I said and what I say go. And I'm like, dang, like I don't even want to say nothing. Like sink in my seat, you know what I mean? But we all now, and that's really where all of this is coming from because society gives these children a way to act out and act upon the thoughts that they have. When at the end of the day, if you would have just said what you was thinking, this would have been alleviated. We wouldn't even be going down these routes. And a lot of times I think that I feel as if I might come down too hard on my son. I'll be like, why did you do that? Come on now, you know you're smarter than that. You know, and I feel like he came, like I was asking him, I said, well, why would you do that? And his response was, because I'm stupid. And it hurt my heart because I'm like, son, that's not what I'm trying to tell you. That's not even what I'm trying to get to.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, well, why do you feel like that? And just letting him talk to me and let me know why he felt like that really alleviated a lot of the misunderstandings that we have as parents. And you have to catch it early because if you catch it too late, it's like, now I'm about to be in these streets.
Right.
But that's how I'm doing. My daughter, she just turned 12. Yeah. But no, like, and then my dad, he knows it because he's in that older group. He said, like, they talk back and they tell us, don't talk back, don't, whatever I say, go. You know what I'm saying? Well, I incorporate that in me raising my daughter. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, I'm telling you, you're going to tell me what your thought process was. And then after you tell me what your thought process was, I'm going to tell you where you were thinking wrong so you don't do it again. Because then that second time you thought it wrong, you know, I have already told you that. So now I can put my hands on it.
Right.
You know,
Well, okay, so that's great. I like the thought process. I'm not that much older than you guys, just to put it out there, but just know my dad raised me and my sister. Our mother died when we were kids. So it was our father who took care of us and raised us. Now, our dad was strict, but he was more into, I'm gonna let you learn your lesson. He was the type that'll tell you, he'll tell you, he'll keep telling it. What you guys call talking at you, he would tell us. And that's what we thought, talking at us. But if you think about it, it's stuck in your head. To where when you went out there and you did it, what did you remember? Exactly what he was telling you. Exactly what your parent was telling you you shouldn't do or what was wrong. You know? And it wasn't, but for us, it wasn't like, okay, well, sit down here and tell me what you was thinking, where you went wrong. It was pretty much, you learned your lesson. It's your choice whether you continue down that path or not.
But he had to hear you out first.
No. There was no hear me out.
So like what I'm saying is, how did he even know that you went through that?
Okay. For instance, let me think of a good example. So one day I had gotten into a fight at school.
Now, my sister was the pretty much agger honor to where the girl that we were fighting was in the neighborhood. And I was sticking up for my sister.
Right.
But see, my sister was the agger honor.
Right.
You know, she's the agger honor. So I fought the girl, but see, I had to learn a lesson because I took it too far when I approached the girl at her house with a knife. Remember that? Yes. The lesson was, I told you, what are you out, like, why are you out there fighting? Why are you out there fighting? I mean, but the consequences I had to go through, he was there with me every step of the way. I had to do counseling. I had to, have like a big sister. I had to go through the core. I had to do all that. But it wasn't now tell me where you went wrong. He stuck by my side.
Exactly.
But you never forgot what.
But I never forgot the lesson I learned he was there. Now his presence was there. He was there. But all the things that I had to struggle through, you know what I'm saying? Having to do the things that I didn't want to do, the counseling, the big brother, the big sister, all that. It wasn't if I said, Dad, I don't want to go. I didn't have a choice.
Right.
Because these were my consequences.
For the action.
This was what I had to do because of the action I did.
Right. So I can't speak for you per se, but for me, like, I'm already like, okay, example, son, go clean your room. You know what I expect. I want your room clean. I want your bed made. Don't come ask me to come stay the night at nobody's house because you already know. But you're going to come ask me anyway. Right. And when I go up there to that room, you already know the answer. I'm not about to entertain this. So eventually, after I've done so much talking to you, now son, what's up? Why you keep asking me this question when you already know the answer? Is your room clean? Why are you not cleaning your room and coming to ask me these questions? My dad it sounds like he was a lot like your dad. My dad, but he was a realist. You know what I mean? He was never going to sugarcoat anything. I know about all the women he slept with type stuff. You know what I mean? He was not going to sugarcoat anything to me, and I'm not going to sugarcoat anything to my kids, because at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you something, and I will let you learn the hard way, because in a child's mind, I can't go to my friend's house, and they was going to go laser tag or whatever. They really wanted you to go, but you're not going because your room ain't clean. That's the consequence of your action. I'm not going to keep talking.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I do want to understand why the heck you keep asking me to go over such and such house when you ain't doing what I'm asking you to do. Where are you getting off with this?
Right.
Like,
but for me, it was like, I told you no, and I don't want to hear nothing else about it. Don't come ask me no. It was just not an option.
Yeah.
It was not an option. You better not fix your lips to ask the question after I told you no. I'm not looking at you. I'm not whooping you. I'm not saying nothing to you. You already know when you hit that door what my answer's gonna be. So go on and sit down.
That's how my daughter. I heard a conversation with my daughter on the phone, because same thing, like with her room. She knows that. And like I tell her, I'm raising her and my nephew to tell them, every action has a good and bad consequence. Now you decide which one you want to deal with. So she was on the phone with one of her friends. She wanted to go spend the night. She knew her room wasn't clean. She asked me once. I told her, no, your room not clean. So her friend was on the phone, was like, well, go ask her again. And my daughter said, do you want me to die tonight? Do you want me to be hurt tonight? I dare not go ask my mom again, can I come over? Because she is going to hurt me,
Yeah, these kids are lucky, huh? Don't even fix your list of asses. Spend the night.
Ain't no spending. Look, ain't no spending in the night. Ain't no spending in the night.
No, that was never allowed. Never allowed.
It was not.
Exactly. And when I used to get mad when I wanted to. I was a little pistol. I ain't even gonna sing. I was a little pistol. You know, growing up, I'm the youngest. I was a little pistol. But when it came down to it, me and my dad had a really, really good relationship. I could tell him everything. I was the tattleteller, I guess.
Yes.
Is what, you know. But
I wouldn't call it a tailor. I would say she was the one that kept him informed.
yeah,
Informed of things that were true and things that was not
See,
true.
that was my role, and with my siblings, I definitely wasn't informant.
right. But it's more one of them things to where it's just the next shit in the bud before it even get worse. That's all I was trying
I
to
didn't
do.
want to see them in trouble.
You know what I'm saying?
I know you're gonna get in trouble, so why are you doing it? You know what I'm saying? Let me help you out by going to see something.
That was your way of empowering.
Exactly. I'm going to encourage you not to do it because you already know. So I'm gonna go say something before you do it.
Right.
That way it won't get done.
Exactly. I'm about to, I'll say it for you. You know, you have to say it. You don't even have to go there. Look, my daughter, I'm gonna keep this short. My daughter, she, like I said, she's 22. I did the very best that I could being a mom. And, you know, I ended up with the ass and the stick at the end of the day. To this day, I still don't completely understand why so much disrespect after all that I've did.
Because it's the influence that these kids are getting through music, through movies, through the social. Yeah, it's the influence that they're getting.
Exactly.
See, this is my philosophy and my take on it. When you have a child, you're responsible for that child until they get 18 years old. Once they become 18 years old, you've done your job. You've completed it. Now, you can look at it this way. It's like walking down a road. You're walking down the road of life with your child until they're 18 years old. Once they're 18 years old, you come at the crossroad. They can either go left or go right. Now, left is going to be a little bumpy, a little rough. They're not gonna remember or do as you taught them, or they can go right and follow the path of righteousness. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but who goes right at okay, let me rephrase that.
At a young age,
At a young
goes
age,
right?
who's gonna go right? But then stay there. You see what I'm saying? Throughout their
But
whole
who
life.
goes left and continues to walk left and go left and
But nobody, that's the thing though. So
Yeah,
with
no,
the whole fork in the road thing with the right and the left thing, it's like I feel like you have to go.
Y'all, I gotta say this. I'm laughing. I gotta say this. Look, my daddy tell me in a minute, when you turn 18, I've been there, you done got that's on you. After you 18, I've been gay. Right, you know, right. And he
but listen, it's a blessing to have parents that will carry you beyond the age of 18.
Exactly. And
it's a true blessing.
yes.
But do these kids these days realize that? No, you hear kids 33 years old hollering what the parent ain't giving them.
Right. And then it's a
Look, 60-year-old, they're just saying that. A 60-year-old that is saying that to this day. And I'm looking at you like, are you kidding me? Right. You are 60 years old. If you did not get it yourself.
Right, right.
You know.
Right.
But I thank God that I had the mother that I had, because she not only she helped me with my daughter. I was a single woman. I was a single mother, but I never said I was a single parent,
Right.
because I had my village. I had my mom. I had my aunties. I had my sister. I had people in my corner, my daughter and I, we never struggled. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So, yes, I was truly blessed to have my mom as my backbone, you know, to help me during I call it the little Tyler periods, like I said, up until she had got about 5 or 6 or 7, something like that. That's when I passed. But those are the most important years in a child's life
Right.
that we need help. That single parents need that extra help because those are the most stressful years. And I know a lot of people might differ, like you said, you might differ because, you know, going through teenage years, they're rebellious. But I feel like they're from birth all the way up to the age of 5 or 6 is the most difficult times because that is when you are instilling a lot of value.
Yeah, and then that's the most precious time.
That's the most precious, right? But then that's the most time where your mind, the parent's mind is vulnerable. What am I doing this correctly? You know what I'm saying? So yes, I thank God I had her to help instill value into my daughter. You know, help me keep me centered and grounded.
That empowerment.
That empowers you to be able
to keep going.
right, and to empower your daughter.
I don't know what's gonna become of that, but I wish I had her here to help me get through these years. But I feel like it'll be a breeze because I was able to get through her first 5.
Oh, yeah, and it will be.
But everything
Absolutely.
that she's talked to you about, everything that she's told you, you just have, now it's your turn to put those in play.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Like she gave me my playbook, you know what I'm saying? By
Right.
putting it inside of me, like you
Right.
said, she empowered me. But when it first was like, what am I gonna do? Because I needed that, you know, I need her here, but I have it, you know.
Right. Because she's already taught you.
She's
what
already
you
taught
need
me.
to know
Exactly.
in order to be that role model, that empowerment for your daughter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why I always say, you know what? I tell my daughter all the time, it doesn't matter how she looks at things. Okay, everybody got their own, way of seeing things. But I always say this, I'm never going to stay out of her ear, regardless. I'm still going to stay in that ear.
Yeah.
Because I know, been there, done that, that as she gets older and she becomes my age, and if the Lord is willing and I'm still here, she's going to say to me, Mom, you know what? You was right. You was sure telling the truth.
But I really believe the way we were raised seems to be pretty similar in a lot of ways. We were raised with morals, respect, but I'm afraid that we have kids nowadays that don't have any idea what that's about.
And it's scary.
It is.
Oh, it's frightening.
It's scary.
It is. It absolutely is because when you have 16-year-olds having kids with someone who they just knew that they were going to spend the rest of their life with, and that doesn't turn out, that's an emotional turmoil. Parents like, girl, I am not the babysitter. I'm not going to do it. But yet, and still, you need an education. You don't have a job to really provide for this child. You don't have all of these requirements. It's a lot of mental strain.
Yeah.
It's a lot of mental strain in our youth because they're so busy trying to be wanted, fit in, accepted, to where they don't even know who they are. They can't be themselves. They can't even begin to fathom what it's like to respect somebody else. Because I'm gonna respect you when the man that I've laid down with can't even respect me. I thought that was respect,
Right.
because that's what the society tells you.
Exactly.
And it's something where we all, since we are all sitting in this room, and even the watchers, you know what I mean? We all need to step up and start empowering one another and making sure that we're planting, even if it's just a little mustard seed, into somebody to let them know you are capable, you are smart enough, you are good enough. who told you you wasn't good enough? Girl, did you look at yourself today?
Right.
You know?
Absolutely. And that's where the movement comes in at, because now we sat here the whole time and we talked about different things that we have endured, different things that we're going through right now. These are real life situations. We're all real people. We're all human. It is what it is. And I'm going to tell you, when it comes down to it, hey, I'm going to lift my sister up, regardless of who, what, when, where, or how. If you a woman, I am willing to sit down, listen. I'm willing to sit down, give my, opinion, whatever you ask me to, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Anything to empower another woman, anything to empower another woman, because we sat here this whole time and we're, trust and believe me, there is somebody out there that is going through what each and every last one of us have sat here and talked about.
Mhm.
Instead of tearing each other down, let's lift up. Let's lift each other up.
Mhm.
That's right.
And that's how I look at it.
Yep, and like I said, not just with words, but with action.
Action.
It takes action, not just. I'm gonna
Exactly. Sit and listening, If that's all you can do for someone is sit and listen, there is nothing wrong with that. If that's going to help the next woman that may be going through any type of depression or anxiety or anything, there's nothing wrong with giving that empowerment movement.
Mhm.
Girl, you look good today. Just whatever it takes to make the next woman smile. I think it's very important.
Mhm.
It helps with the key thing is mental health.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
It helps with that.
Yep.
And it helps keep the movement going. Now we all have children. We may not be able to, it may not be a legacy when it comes down to that respect and things like that from our children. They may not look at it the way we see things. And we already see that ain't happening now. Not nowadays, it ain't. Lord, no, ain't not. It's the truth.
I feel, it's almost, I don't want to say I feel sorry for anybody, but it hurts my heart to see, like when I see young girls out here twerking, and that, you know what, that bothers me.
It does.
I mean, you can twerk, but can you read a book?
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Not, you know what, and even for the advanced ones, you can twerk, but do you know what it is to have a credit line?
Balance your checkbook.
Right.
Balance your checkbook. Show me how to do that.
Exactly.
Impress me with that one.
You know,
Right.
You know.
that is so true.
Right.
It bothers me. And when they say it takes a village, it truly does.
It truly does.
But see, you have some women in the village that are so jealous of one another that they're forgetting the importance of community,
Yes.
family,
Yes.
uplifting,
Love.
love,
Love.
and how, they totally miss the flat because they're so,
That's why we have to speak positive words into each other, into ourselves every day, so that we don't have a problem with speaking it to others. And that's where it just comes in at, and that's where it's gonna trickle down.
And believe in it when somebody tells you. Because
Exactly.
if you don't
Right.
believe it about yourself, and when
Mhm.
somebody tell you you're beautiful, you're like,
Mhm.
thank you.
Exactly.
And deep down, you know you're not.
Mhm.
Like, what's what's the point?
Being able to receive it, like we were talking about earlier, even if you can't see it right now, because I mean depression is real, okay? I done been there. You tell me I look nice today, girl, I got on sweats and a t-shirt. You know what I mean? We all have been there. Like, I don't feel beautiful today, but it's just being able to receive it. Like, you know what, it's not even about what I'm wearing.
Right.
It's not about what I'm wearing. It's about what I'm still giving out despite everything that I'm going through.
Right.
And that's really, like I said, just being able to receive what people pour into you.
Yeah, exactly. And I say it's gonna keep the movement going, as long as we speak those positive words and keep our minds positive.
Yeah, and put into our kids.
Period.
Because once you put that into them and once they grow up with it, they'll be able to do it naturally.
Right.
But can you imagine what this world would be like when they start running it? I'm scared.
Oh, don't worry about it. We're about to get these kids right, okay? The legacy of enlightenment is not about to be played.
Let's get them together now.
Exactly.
Now. Because I'm scared.
I have one natural child, but I have over 17 kids that I care for.
That's nice.
And I put so much love because I know that these parents are out here working, and what my mission and my goal is to put the love that the parents can't give at that time. Not saying that they can't give it, but just at that time because they have to work. I want to put that love and positive vibe into them to help them. So then that way when they get all this extra love, this is not my parents' source love, So that way when they go out, they're able to spread it out.
But not only that, I think that structure too. Structure is important.
Oh yeah.
So like for the working parents, if they're not able to give the proper, not all of them, but a lot of them are probably not able to give that proper structure. It's like, okay, we gotta get home, I gotta get ready for work tomorrow, I gotta get you know what I'm saying? And there's no real structure, no real, well, let's sit down and talk for about 10 minutes. You know what I mean? Tell me how your day was. It's okay, gotta eat, gotta brush teeth, get your pajamas on, go to bed.
Right.
Or here, grab your tablet, go away.
Yeah.
I need to relax. But what you're able to do is to give those kids that love and that structure that's very important.
And that is very important. We need more of you.
Yeah, absolutely.
More of you. And we
Absolutely.
need more of you. More of you.
Yeah.
We need more of all of us. Hell, I'm done with the cue cards. It is what it is. Look, I'm not even getting ready. Hey, we done already put it out there, I say. You know what I'm saying? We put it out there.
There's so many different ways you can empower somebody.
Yes.
And I just say it just needs to be done.
It just needs to
Even
be
walking
done.
past a total stranger, saying hello,
Yeah. Simple.
holding the door.
Yeah.
To me, that's uplifting and that's empowering. You don't know what type of day they're having. That little bit of thing could mean the world to them.
Exactly. And that's, hey, I say, keep speaking positive words. Don't let the next person tear you down. We already know all we can do is what? Pray for them, right?
Amen.
So just like I say in every single video, y'all already know. Keep God first. Peace. Bye, y'all.